Guys, she left me. She left me. She left me and gone about her business.
It wasn't that serious, okay?
Hey, XYZ fam!
Wow, you hear that echo?
Is it good or bad?
I don't care.
We are back in the US. Our Southeast Asia trip has come to an end. And we're in the same place. But it hasn't always been like that. In fact, the past couple of weeks have been
a little rough.
A little shaky.
And it reminds us of just that part in our spiritual journey when we are far away from God. Anyways, we're going to explore those two things. Us being apart and being apart from God as well.
So, if you're interested in this kind of video, come along with us!
So, right after we left our last country, which was Singapore, we came to the US. We went to New Jersey and we spent about I spent about 2 or 3 days in New Jersey, and then I had to leave to go back.
Guys, she left me. She left me. She left me and gone about her business.
It wasn't that serious, okay? I had to come to Jamaica for a week. No.
It wasn't a week. It was like 3 weeks.
Gone. It was about a week and a half. So I had a wedding, and the plan was that we would.
It was forever.
The plan was that I would come back to Jamaica. Xaundré would stay in the US, and then whenever we have a speaking appointment in the US, at that point we would come back. But after 1 week of being away, he was not okay.
I was not okay. Honestly, let me know in the comments if you've ever spent any extended time away from your husband or wife, especially within the first 2 years of marriage. It's not advised. Multiple people have told us, you know, that's not a good idea. Probably try to not do that. But we spent a week and a half away from each other, and I was not okay. I was not having it.
I think one of the reasons that made it hard was because we were talking about Xaundré, you know, because this exam, as we would have explained to you before, is so that Xaundré can eventually apply to get matched in some US program, right? So
basically come to the US
to work as a doctor. That's why he's doing this exam.
Yeah.
So we were talking about the fact that he might have to spend a couple months in the US that I wouldn't spend in the US. So when I left New Jersey, the truth is, even though it was a week that ended up happening, we'll soon tell the story how that happened. We never knew when we would be living together again.
So potentially we would have spent 2 months, or maybe a little bit over a month, away from each other, and then she would come up when we need to go to Georgia to do we have a speaking appointment coming up. We'd literally be together for like a week, and then she would go back to Jamaica,
and we wouldn't know,
and then almost indefinitely. But that was a terrible idea. Terrible idea,
because after 1 week he caved. And I was stressed out about the idea from before. So, you know, like even leading up when we were in Asia, it was something that I was dealing with. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this.
And she cried.
Yeah, I did a lot of crying. And I did a lot of, Zan, I don't know what it's going to look like. It potentially could have been long distance for a year. You know, that was what the plan looked like. And I didn't like the idea of that. And I remember, you know, losing sleep over it, and Xaundré was okay, and I was like, well, he was like, well, it's not time to deal with it yet, because
I was suppressing it, guys. So suppression is a mature defense mechanism where you just put away the unwanted feelings, and since you don't have to deal with them in that moment, you just deal with them whenever you actually need to deal with them. So it finally came time for me to actually deal with them, which is when she had already left, and now I needed to figure out what we're doing with our lives, because we were basically staring down the barrel of not seeing each other for, you know, quite an indefinite period. But I'm very grateful to, you know, have the opportunity to stay here and study. Not everybody has that, and I don't want to sound bitter or entitled, because I'm very grateful, but I don't take away from the fact that married people mustn't spend so much time apart, man. I don't believe in that. Some people say, you know, distance make the heart grow fonder, which might be true, but I don't like, if this is how I have to build my fondness, I'll take a pass. I prefer go on adventures and figure things out together and get lost in places. That's a little cooler.
You know, when the plane touched down in Jamaica and I realized that I was alone. Well, I wasn't alone, obviously. I have no friend and family, but I realized that you weren't there with me. I just started crying. And I knew that I tried to hide it, but it never really worked. But nobody never cared about me, really. And then as soon as I landed in the airport, I start to people, hi Zara, welcome back. where is Xaundré? And then now I had to explain, oh, he's not here, he's studying for his exam, he's not here yet. And they kept on reminding me that I was alone. So it was hard.
People would see me in New Jersey, I'd be on the train going somewhere and somebody just walk up to me and be like, are you lost?
Why are you here?
Why are you here? Are you supposed to be in Asia first of all, and second of all, where's Zara?
Yeah.
I'm just like, do you really have to ask that question right now?
Yeah.
I'd prefer to not talk about it. While I was in New Jersey, I went to 2 different churches actually. I went to First Newark SDA.
Come along, XYZ fam.
Yeah.
And I kind of passed by United Hope, which is my mom's actual home church.
XYZ, I'm in the vlog. Big them up every time. I'm so happy that I get to meet him in person. Remember to like, follow, share everything. They're the best of the best. Don't
Smash
play.
that like button, alright?
Right. So pause and like. Thank you.
Don't end the thing. Don't end the
Hey.
thing. Hi guys. We were not there. Come. We were not
Hey.
there. Hi.
Zara, we miss you.
We miss you. Oh.
Zara, I
Now
just
I
sent you.
understand.
Let me tell
What he said. No. I get it. Light,
you.
Zara, light has come.
I sent you a message on Facebook.
Yes, sir.
You know? I sent you a message on Instagram, Zara, to say I miss you, and I sent you a video of him to say yes, I met him. I'm so excited.
Everywhere we go, there are people who are part of the XYZ fam, and it's always such a pleasure to meet you guys. So, who knows, we might be coming to a church
Near you.
But for my week, I had a wedding that I needed to go to. And because I was very active in, you know, getting things ready and stuff, I spent some time with mommy, and then I spent some time getting ready for the wedding, and then afterwards I spent some time with mommy. So, and I wasn't vlogging a lot in that time because I really wanted the opportunity to live the moment. I don't have as many clips. But
well, I was alone. I mean, mommy was here with me, but mommy was also preparing to leave to go on a trip of her own.
Yeah.
Say hi to the vlog.
Hi.
I was trying to study and trying to be strong studying. I studied for the first maybe 80% at the time, and then after that I just couldn't get any work done, so I just gave up on the studying thing.
So you got a lot of clips.
So I got a lot of clips because you know I was just vlogging to bring you guys along this single man journey. Not nice. I don't love it. I don't wish it for anybody. As a matter of fact, since I have like 20 minutes before the next train gets here, I can either listen to an audiobook or I can call Zara. Go figure. A single married man.
That's no.
Is
It's not it.
It's not
because in Xaundré's singleness, you know, he was very happy being single. Because I remember one time, you know, I can't forget. That's why I'm telling you guys, ladies, you see what goes around will come back around. Because one time, I made like off the boy, right?
Alright, I think the camera malfunctioned.
No. Let me tell you a story. I did like off the boy, right? And we were on the break. This was in like first year. And we were not together. And I remember saying to him, clear as day, we were over his sister's college house. It was a Saturday night, and we were just hanging out and talking. And I think I was getting sleepy. I rest my head on his shoulder. We were just there vibing, and it felt good. It felt right, but we were not together. And I remember I said to him, I really miss this. Don't you miss us? He said, no, I'm having the time of my life. I love my singleness. Hey, Mr. Gat for the whole week. It bothered me for the whole week. So now if you see him now stressed out, I can't say that there's a hint of wow.
What I said to her at the time, well, I'm not sure if it's quite at that point, but I said to her before we got married, and I continue to maintain that same idea, is that before you commit to somebody for the rest of your life, it's okay, cool, you can spend time apart for however long you need to spend apart. If you guys not in a relationship, it is whatever, you know, no strings attached, it's fine, you'll survive. But then after I've made that commitment, man, I don't plan to be single again. So I can't live single man life again. I done married already.
No, I'm mad over me.
Alright.
Oh, I don't take anything serious.
And probably rightly so, because when she was taking this very seriously, she was crying. And that's the point I was making, like, she did her her wailing before the fact, you know. So
Right.
she was
in preparation
for it. I didn't. I kind of just suppressed it until I needed to deal with it, which is when she had already left. I used to go and study every day. I went to a co-working space. I take the train by myself, or mommy would drop me sometimes if she's going to work in that direction. And yeah, I'd go and study. There were nice people there, and I met people and laugh and chat with them. So guys, she's the one that has been taking care of me in the co-working space every day. Every day she comes and asks me if I'm okay, because she said that I'm depressed that Zara is not here.
Yes, we miss her.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can see you back. We enjoyed having them here at the co-working space, and they're always welcome back.
It's really nice here. So I was just telling her that today is my last day.
I'm so sad. Oh my God, I'm gonna miss you.
You're really making this seem like it's a whole season. Guys, it was a week and a half.
Guys, it was forever. It was like 3 months. I promise you. It felt like forever. I know some of you may have had to experience this at some point in your life, you know.
Yeah, because long distance is hard. And I started going on TikTok to look on long distance TikTok to see what people have gone through and how people would have been dealing with it. And we really sympathize with you if you have to be in a long distance relationship for whatever reason. It could be because of somebody's job, it could be because of illness, it could be because of immigration, whatever it is. We really sympathize with you on this journey.
And I mean, we're still trying to figure out our own story. But the reality of it is, us being apart for this long period of time is just, it's a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
It's not a thing that we're willing to entertain. And we'll find a way to work around it, you know, to make it work for us.
AKA Mega Always Abakay.
Basically. But let's just say the next time that you see us, we'll probably be in Jamaica.
No, actually, the next vlog is going to be in Florida.
Oh, but then after that.
Then after that, Georgia.
And then after that, we're gonna be back in Jamaica.
So for those who are asking when we'll come back home, in a few.
Yeah.
Who knows? We might end up at Israel and can try a track we. Woo! You know, we wanted to say, in the same way it was hard for us during that time, you know, it feels the same way when we get disconnected from God. It feels the same way when we don't spend time with Him, and it feels the same way when we spend time apart. And oftentimes things start feeling strange and you start feeling out of whack.
And interestingly enough, in the same way that it wasn't hard for me before we made that commitment, you know, getting married and everything, it wasn't hard for me to spend months away from Zara. In fact, I did.
We spend a lot of time apart.
Literally, months would pass and we don't see each other.
Yeah.
When I was in the US and she was in Jamaica. And, you know, it was fine. So it is sometimes with our relationship with God, like before we make that full commitment, it's okay if we don't study in like 2 months, we don't study our Bible, we don't pray or anything. We feel perfectly fine and you can continue living and feel okay. But after you've made the commitment to God and you've gotten that taste of what a relationship with God feels like,
oh
you know what it's like to always be going back and forth, you and Jesus. You have your problems, come up and you call Him and you say, Jesus, listen, this is what is going on and I need to figure it out for me. Then all of a sudden, when you depart from that reality, that's when you feel like you get hit by a bus. That's when it's really hard. And that's why God says that it's better for you to be cold or hot and not lukewarm. Because if you've come to really understand what a relationship with God is like and then not invest in it, you're really doing yourself a disservice.
And then you're always searching for it. And I think that's why we always have the desire to grow closer to Him and to learn more and to spend more time in the Word. That unconditional yearning for more and to learn more about His character, it grows over time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I mean, if you are okay with not growing, then maybe something is wrong with that.
What do you, whenever you feel far away from God, right? In the same way you felt far away from Him and you weren't okay. In those moments when you're not okay, when you feel far away from God, what do you do?
Almost always it starts by me going to my favorite place in the house.
The bathroom. Okay.
You can guess where that place is, just know that nobody else will come and disturb you.
I already say it though.
True.
Want me crap it out?
No, that's fine. Make it stay.
Oh. Yeah.
But yeah,
so
it almost always starts with that. And I go and I sit down and I just start talking to God, and I'm just like, all right, Jesus, this is what is going on. And I explain to him that I feel distant, why I feel distant. By the way, you don't have to go there. You know, it's just my, it's just my
Not
place.
set in stone, okay?
It's just my place. It's the place where I feel most relaxed, most at ease, most, you know, able to communicate with God. And, you know, I spend some time talking to him, explain to him why I'm feeling, how I'm feeling, and let him know that I haven't been investing time. Almost always, it's when I have neglected spending time doing Bible study
And
praying, or just, you know, spending time doing his work, like whether that's with church or in my personal friend groups or wherever. Anytime you stop doing one of those three things, worse yet, you stop doing all three.
It's sharing. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry I cut you. Go ahead, talk.
That was an inside joke. If you know, you know. But yeah, so the other one would be sharing. So those three things. So if you stop doing any of those three, or if I stop doing any of those three, worse yet, you stop doing all three, then that's when it just starts going downhill. And I spent some time talking to God about it. Having explained it to God, then I asked him, you know, to kind of show me the best way forward. And truth is, sometimes you don't get a clear answer. So that sometimes you do. But almost always, it pays to start spending more time doing intentional Bible study, spending time praying, and of course sharing your faith.
I mean, that's what I would answer, so I'm not going to add to that. But I was telling you this morning that I was listening to Jackie Hill Perry on 30 Minutes with the Perrys, I said ago, or half an hour with the Perrys, or
30 minutes.
30 minutes. It's a good channel for you guys to check out. And they were talking about prayer. This is an old video, but sometimes I binge watch their videos, right? And they were talking about the fact that sometimes we find it so hard to be still because we're just in a society that's always moving. We're not used to being bored or to being still. And prayer, like deep conversation with God, a lot of times, especially if you're going to talk about something specific, it calls us to be still, still to hear his voice, to be still, to just have the opportunity to meditate on his word and to meditate in conversation with him.
But we have an attention span of a goldfish.
We have an attention span problem, and also we always have to keep on going. Even like in Bible study, you know, you're highlighting and you're circling, but in prayer, it's one of the hardest things to do, and because of that, we neglect our prayer life and we neglect talking to God. And how would you feel during those moments if, when you were in foreign and we were not connected, I stopped talking to you as well?
That would not be okay.
You would not be okay.
I would not be okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if mental illness runs in my family. I don't think so, but I feel like that probably would tip me.
That would have tipped you?
That would have tipped me.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you were gone for a week or 2 weeks, I don't know, it felt like a month.
As I say, it's a week and a half.
Yeah, and it felt like that for me. Yeah. Then just imagine if I was trying to reach you and unable to.
Right.
You know?
Right. So imagine God, who has given his life for us and who desires to have a relationship with us, if we're not talking to him and we're not keeping close to him, those are the same feelings. And I know it's deep, you know. So it's one of those things that I'm working on right now in my journey, trying to be still, because it's in the stillness that we can hear him respond sometimes. It's in the stillness that we'll be able to communicate, and it's in the stillness that we'll be able to get some sense of direction sometimes.
You know, a specific strategy I've found to be helpful with that is to just grab my book and just start writing. Like I started, Dear God, and I literally just start writing, just rambling. It's like I just vomiting on the page. It's literally, as the thoughts come to mind, I just put it down. And I found that to be incredibly helpful because it keeps you engaged. It's a prayer, but it doesn't have all the fanciful stuff, you know, in the name of a Father and Son, and as you were for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego,
the God of Daniel,
and it don't have all of the fluff. It just say, all right, God, this is what is going on. These are my thoughts. Help me out with this. I'm confused about this. I need direction on this. By the way, thank you for this. And in the meantime, can you please make Zara hurry up and come back?
And music also helps me to reconnect as well. I've been very particular these days about the persons who I'm listening to. But overall, I like to vibe. I'm not a very, so Xaundré loves Collinsworth family and the Gaither vocal band. I listen to them over and over again. I'm more of a contemporary gospel girl, but there are just some moments that
the contemporary gospel can't hold you.
And you need to grab your hymnal, and you need, like, you know, you guys know what I mean, okay? They're just those moments. So There's a vibe for every moment. Yeah, one of the things that we've also been doing to get closer to God is that we've been following along Jesus's story. And whenever you feel like downtrodden by people, especially you know, we're in a system where we go to church and we're a part of groups and we communicate with people who say they're Christians all the time, and it's easy to get hurt and to get sidetracked by how people are. But every time we go back to Jesus's life, we are reminded about his character, and it helps us to keep connected with him, because no longer is he tied to what somebody is portraying or the life that somebody's living that's not of him, but he's tied to a real representation of his character that's very clear in the Bible.
That's true, and if you spend enough time studying the Bible, you realize that a lot of things that church people say and do and pretend like it's gospel really is not.
Yep.
And a lot of ways they're so misguided.
Yeah. And you start feeling sorry for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It moves from anger and distrust and distaste towards people who are, you know, in the church, been in the church for the last 50 years. And now you start seeing them as, you're pitiful towards them.
You're lost.
Wow, how clueless do you have to be to think that that is okay?
Yeah,
know?
and that really keeps me, because and then also it helps me to kind of check myself sometimes, because if I keep on going back to Jesus' character, then if I'm not in line with that,
you realize you're not as good as you thought you were.
You're not as good as you thought you were, and you're trash too.
So when Zara wasn't there, right, and I was in New Jersey by myself, and I asked her to come up and meet me in Florida, because I'd have to come down to Florida because this is where I'm going to be doing the exam, which, by the way, is tomorrow, like less than 24 hours from now.
Yeah.
I'll be sitting that exam, so say a word of prayer for your boy. I mean, by the time you see this vlog, I would have done the exam, but let's just pray that I pass, all right? That's the point.
So
anyway,
before you go to that part of the story, he ended up buying a ticket for me for way earlier than I was supposed to come up. So I was like going through immigration. I'm nervous now. I just come from the foreign. I mean, no want immigration think to me and try to take advantage of them system, because I mean the visa has a lot of stay on it, but and we're like in the US for a few days. But you know, still, I mean, just come back. Yeah.
But yeah, so while I was there, I realized, all right, Zara's coming up and she's going to meet me here, which is kind of my request, you know. I asked her to come. So I decided, you see, that I was going to go and get her flowers. And when I went, they had nice flowers, but then I wasn't seeing the one that was popping, you know. So I had to search, and then I searched and I found a bouquet of 24 red roses. And it looked nice, and I was just like, okay, this is it. So I bought it like a full 24 hours before I was going to see her, and then I had to take care of the flowers. That flowers traveled with me on multiple trains, 2 buses, a 3.5-hour flight, you know, around the back of the plane, because it's just a cheap flight I didn't book, you know. So you know how it goes.
Aww.
And we eventually, you know, when I met her, I gave it to her.
No, wait, that's not how the story went. Tell them the truth. So I landed at the airport, remember?
Oh,
we landed
yes.
at the airport. We've been doing this airport traveling thing together. So now I'm here, and
we took, in the past 3 months, it took about 25
flights.
Yeah, at that point it would have been 25 flights.
So I landed at the airport, and we're going to stay at a hotel the night before we go over to like family and stuff. Xaundré said I'm gone at the hotel, left me, and I must come on the bus by myself. So I said, are you kidding me? He was like, oh, I was taking too long because it was Memorial Weekend and the line in immigration was full, and I was taking. So I said, that doesn't make no sense. I was so upset. I was so upset because I felt, I was tired, you know, and I was annoyed. And then now I'm doing this, going out on a limb for this guy, and he's supposed to meet me, because I was expecting a grand reunion at the airport where I would come through the gate and he would meet me and I hug him because he's been missing me. Him say him gone because he couldn't wait no longer.
So I left on the first shuttle. Indeed, I did leave her at the airport. But that was because the hotel would not set up the room for us, and there was no food at the hotel. So I tried to rush back to the hotel, leave my bags there, set up the room with flowers, and I brought on candles and everything. But did you guys know you can't light candles in a hotel room? I didn't know that. I found that out, you know.
Dum dum dum.
So, apparently I can't light candles.
Plus June is my birthday month, so it's extra special.
Yes, I went to set it up, and she didn't know anything about the flowers, and I wanted to order the food so that there would be food when she gets there because I figured she'd be hungry, and put chocolate on the bed and the whole works. So I ran back.
Put like roses in the room. One bag of excitement.
Yeah, so I ran back to set up the hotel room for her before she would get there, knowing fully well that if I come back on the next shuttle, it would be the time to pick her up anyway because she wouldn't leave until the next shuttle comes. And then I went back with the other shuttle. When she thought I was still at the hotel, she thought I had left her there indefinitely. But I really surprised her with the flowers.
How's it?
Oh my gosh, you're so annoying.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, made up for it. Thank you. I love you.
I love you too.
I'm gonna kiss you enough on the vlog. So.
Okay, kiss me. Alright, baby. Cool. PG-13.
Yeah, but that was really sweet. I appreciate the effort.
Thank you.
It's the little things. It's nothing big. It's the little things, you know? The fact that the youth buy the flowers and struggle with the flowers.
Oh, I struggled with the flowers.
We went to the shuttle and gave him the flowers. Other people were there like, oh, and everybody started clapping. And I was just like, oh my gosh, so much attention. I don't like attention. Yeah.
Anyway, that's all from us for this one. We'll see you next time on Adventures of XYZ. Bye, guys. By the way, since you're still here, remember to smash that like button and subscribe to our channel. Like, why would you want to be missing out on all our videos? You need to subscribe to the channel. Plus,
Or